Good morning, dear children. Today I am going to teach you lesson 2 of MF. But before starting with the lesson, let me ask you some questions. Okay? So be ready, children. I am going to ask you some questions about ants. You all know what are ants? Yes? Okay? So be ready. So children, tell me, have you ever seen ants walking in a line like this? Have you ever seen it? Yes? What will you say? You will say, yes ma'am, we have seen ants walking like this. Yes? Now tell me what this tells about ants. Do you know what it shows about ants? It shows the discipline and teamwork of ants. You know, children, ants are very hard-working little tiny creatures and we can learn a lot of things from them. Okay, they can teach us a lot of things. Now tell me, children, about yourself. Do you complete all your work before you go out to play? All your work means it can be any work related to your studies or any other important work. Do you complete it before you go out to play? What will you say? See, if you are not doing it, first you should learn to complete all your important work and then you can go out to play and then you can enjoy yourself. Okay? But children, tell me, why am I asking you these questions? Do you know why am I asking you these questions? I am asking you this because your second lesson of MF is based on a story about an ant and a grasshopper. So here is the ant and here is the grasshopper. Okay, now pay attention, children, as I'll start telling you the story. Okay, so it was winter season in the ant colony and all the ants were busy drying up the grains of corn which had become damp during the autumn weather. What is the meaning of damp, children? Damp means slightly wet. Thoda sa gila. Okay, so winter season was going on in the ant colony and all the ants were busy drying up the grains of corn which had become damp during the autumn weather. Now suddenly what happens? A grasshopper comes. Now this grasshopper looked half dead. Why he looked half dead? Because of cold and because he was starving. He was very hungry. He had nothing to eat. That's why he looked half dead. Okay. So he came there and he asked one of the ants. He said, can you give me a grain or two to eat so that I can save my life? He went and he asked this to this ant. So what this ant said? This ant asked crossly. Crossly means angrily. Okay? This ant asked crossly. What he said, he asked that we have worked day and night to gather these grains. Why should we give it to you? He also said that what have you been doing the last summer when you had time to gather the grains? So do you know what this grasshopper replied? He said, during the last summer, I was busy singing and enjoying myself. It means he was having gala time that time. Okay, he said that I was busy singing and enjoying myself. I had no time to gather the grains. He said this thing to this ant. Okay, now do you know what this ant said? This ant laughed in an unkind manner. And he said, if you have been singing during the last summer, then you carry on doing the same thing during this time also. If you were enjoying then you keep singing and enjoy yourself now also. I don't care about you. And he said this and he turned away without saying any other word to him. Okay, it means this ant did not help this grasshopper. Now, tell me why this ant did not help this grasshopper. Can you tell me why he did not help this grasshopper? Can you think of it? Now, children, this ant did not help him because when this grasshopper had time to gather food for himself, that time he was singing and enjoying himself. That time he wasted. He did not do any work. Okay, so that's why this ant did not help him now. So what do you learn from this lesson? Can you tell me? Can you tell me what do we learn from this lesson? Children, from this lesson, we learn that we should not depend upon the kindness of others to fulfill our needs. See, he was very lazy. He did not work hard to gather food, and he went and he asked this ant, and this ant was not kind. Why he was not kind? Because this grasshopper was very lazy. Because no one likes to help lazy people. No one likes to help those people who don't help themselves. This is what we learn from this lesson. We should be very hardworking. We should be very disciplined. We should learn to do our own work on time. If we will not do it, then others also will not help us. Okay, this is the lesson which we get from this story. Okay children, I hope you have understood the lesson nicely. Thank you.